Yeah. Yes, friends. Let us learn about this thing. Earlier, I might have told you in some other occasion. In some specific situation, there is a requirement under Companies Act that the auditor need to report to central government. The specific situation is that if auditor finds some fraud, we'll see the related provisions relating to this, that is fraud reporting to central government. That means reporting to central government on fraud. This is the exact provision, that is I'm talking about section 143 subsection 12 of Companies Act 2013. As you can read the exact provision of this particular subsection. It's notwithstanding anything contained in this section. If an auditor of the company, in the course of performance of his duty as auditor, has reason to believe that an offense involving fraud is being or has been committed against the company by officers or employees of the company, he shall immediately report the matter to central government within such time and such manner as may be prescribed. Are you seeing this section?
Yes, sir.
That means this particular section says, during the performance of the duties as an auditor, the auditor is performing his duty, he has some reason to believe that offense involving fraud, either it is being committed, that means it is going on, or has been committed. Either it is being committed, it is in the process of commitment, or it has already been committed against the company. The fraud is against the company. That means company is the victim. And who is committing the fraud? The officers or employees of the company. Then what is the duty of the auditor as per this section? What he should do? Let us say you are the auditor. You are finding a fraud. You already know what is fraud. Already I had explained you what is fraud. Is it not? Earlier you have already studied. So what is the duty of the auditor in this situation? Apart from normal duty, as you say, notwithstanding anything contained in this section. Auditor's normal duty, okay, you'll issue the audit report. But in addition to that, is there any specific requirement as per this section? What auditor should do? What should he do? Can you tell me?
Sir, can you repeat again?
The question is, during the course of audit, let us say you are the auditor. During the course of your duties, you are finding that a fraud is being committed. Someone is committing a fraud. What is your duty as per this section? A particular employee or officer is committing the fraud. What should you do?
Sir, he should report it to the prescribed authority, that is the central government.
That is the central government. So as you can see, this section 143.12 says, report has to be sent to the central government and immediately. But how that reporting, how you will be able to, how you will be doing that report? So it says in such within such time and in such manner as may be prescribed. So we have to refer to the related rules. Rules have been prescribed how this kind of reporting can be made. Okay. Now I am taking you to this rule. As you can see the title, what is the rule? This rule is called as, can you read it?
Sir, Rule 2014, Rule 13.
This is called as Companies Audit and Auditors Rule 2014. What is relevant here at this point of time is rule number 13. I am going to show you the rule number 13 of Companies Audit and Auditors Rule 2014. Right, rule 13 says, as you can see, for the purpose of subsection 1 of section 143, just before that I was showing you section 143. Right, subsection 12 I was showing you. Right. In case auditor has sufficient reason to believe that an offense involving fraud is being or has been committed against the company by officers or employees of the company, he shall report the matter to the central government immediately. That means as early as possible he needs to report, but not later than how many days? Not later than
So 60 days.
not later than 60 days of his knowledge and after following the procedures indicated herein below. So this is the procedure which is stated below. We will be saying the procedures, but we need to remember auditor need to report it to the central government immediately, but not later than 60 days. Okay, so maximum within 60 days, a report should be sent to the central government. But one procedure needs to be followed, and this is the procedure. First, what the auditor should do, auditor should forward his report to the board or audit committee. If the company has an audit committee, then auditor will be submitting the report to the audit committee or to the board, as the case may be. Immediately after he comes to knowledge of fraud, seeking their reply or observation within 45 days. So what the auditor should do, immediately write a letter informing that this kind of fraud has been committed, and he should seek the reply of the board or audit committee. Okay, seeking the reply and observation within 45 days. So they should reply within 45 days. Okay, maximum 60 days time is available with the auditor, but auditor should write to the board or to audit committee to reply within 45 days. Okay, so they may give a reply, they may not give a reply. Is it not? Now, on receipt of such reply, if they give this reply, then what will happen? If on receipt of such reply or observation, the auditor shall forward his report and reply or the observation to the board or audit committee. On receipt of such reply, the auditor shall forward his report and the reply or observation of the board or audit committee along with the comments, along with his comments. So auditor will forward his report and the replies plus his comments. Okay, all three things has to be forwarded to the central government within 15 days of receipt of such observation. Okay, auditor has 60 days time and auditor will write immediately to the board to reply within 45 days, and on receipt within next 50 days, immediately within next 50 days, auditor should send it to the central government. What auditor should send? One is one report, two, the comments or replies of the audit committee or board, third, his comments on his reply. Okay, in case auditor fails to get any reply, if the audit committee or board doesn't reply, then what will happen? What will happen? The board and audit committee fail to give reply within 45 days. Then auditor shall forward his report to the central government along with a note containing the details of his report that report was forwarded to the audit committee or forwarded to the board, and the board or audit committee has failed to submit any reply, or auditor has failed to receive any reply. Okay, even if the observation is communicated to the board or to the audit committee, they have not replied. So this fact also should be intimated to the central government. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how can you send this report? You see, the report shall be sent to this address. Can you read this address? Here the address is there. Can you read?
To the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
Yes, this is this should be addressed to the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs in a sealed cover by a registered post with acknowledgement due or by speed post, followed by an email in confirmation of the same. So letter has to be given, email also should be followed. Okay, so let me Once again, summarize. In case a fraud is discovered during the performance of the duty, auditor need to inform it to the central government within 60 days. But before that, he has to follow this procedure. He need to inform to the board or audit committee, seeking their reply within 45 days. If they give a reply, then along with the reply, auditor should add his comment and send it to the central government within next 15 days. If they do not give any reply, then auditor should state the fact that this is observation and he has failed to collect reply from the board or from the audit committee. And this fact also should be communicated to the central government. And the letter should be addressed to the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It should be sent in a sealed cover by registered post or with acknowledgement due or by speed post. But an email should also follow, confirming the same. And the report shall be on the letterhead of the auditor. It should be written on the letterhead of the auditor containing the postal address, email address, and contact number, and be signed by the auditor with his seal and shall indicate his membership number. All these things should be there. Okay. And the report shall be in the form of a statement specified in ADT 3. I will be showing you. ADT 3 is the name of a form. Okay. And the similar provision, this is in case of statutory audit. Similar provision is also there for cost auditor and secretarial auditor. That means while performing his duty as a cost auditor, if cost auditor finds some fraud, he also needs to inform it to the central government. And in case similarly secretarial auditor, if he finds some fraud, then he also needs to send the fraud report to the central government. Okay, and this is the form called as IDT 4, as I told you. Can you see the form? You see, report to the central government. As per Rule 13.4 of Companies Audit and Auditors. You see, date is there. Then subject, report under subsection 12 of section 143 of Companies Act 2008 on suspected offence involving fraud committed or having been committed. You see, name of the company, corporate identification number, address, all this should be there. Date of annual general meeting. Okay. You see, basis on which fraud is suspected. Auditor has to report on that. Period during which suspected fraud has occurred. Date of sending report to the board or audit committee. Date of reply received from the board or audit committee, if any. If they receive. Okay, if it is received, the date of reply should be there. And also attach a copy thereof and give gist of the reply. Whether auditor is satisfied with the reply, that has to mention yes or no. Okay. Estimated amount involved in the fraud. Details, if any, taken by the company in this regard. Any other relevant information. All these things should be there in the report. Okay. Are you getting it? There is one more component to this form. Second part I am showing you. Yeah, you see. Verification paragraph is there. I, proprietor or partner of this so and so chartered accountant, hereby declare that information on his name is true. Here, auditor has to write his name, signature. Okay. His seal has to be put. His membership number has to be given. Then attachment also can be given to this form. Did you understand now how fraud reporting happens? So this is, you can say, this is a power of the auditor, that auditor can directly write to the central government in case it discovers any fraud. Okay. Are you getting? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let me summarize the entire concept once again. This chart will be explaining you. This chart is visible to you. Is it clearly? Are you
Yes,
able to
sir.
see this that
Yes,
clearly?
sir.
So the
Yes, sir.
first you see, during the performance of the duty, if the auditor has reason to believe that suspected offense involving fraud is being or has been committed. This is, you can say, the starting point. Auditor is performing his duty and he finds out some evidence. On that basis, he has a reason to believe that there is a fraud. Either fraud is being committed or already has been committed. Then what he has to do? Reporting is triggered at that point of time at this stage under section 143.12. That matter needs to be reported to the board audit committee immediately. Okay, and the board audit committee should respond within 45 days. Okay, auditor will wait for the response. Now let us say what is happening when the response comes. The board and audit committee may investigate, provide some information. He may give some information about the steps taken. Okay, then what the auditor will do? Auditor will consider that reply, then see whether he is satisfied or not. Whether he is satisfied or not, that doesn't matter. It is in both the cases, he has to report to the central government within 45 days of receipt of response from the board of directors or audit committee. The moment fraud is committed, he has to give report. Right? Even if auditor is satisfied with that, with the reply of the management. Okay. If auditor is satisfied, report has to be given. Even if an auditor is not satisfied, report of course has to be given. Now let us say another situation is that board or audit committee disagrees with auditor's assessment that fraud exists. Board doesn't agree. Then auditor may try to collect evidences. If persuasive evidences are not provided, board says, I do not agree that there is any fraud. But board has not provided any persuasive evidence. Then still auditor has to write to the central. Or another situation is that persuasive evidence is provided, but auditor is not satisfied with that. Still auditor needs to write to the central government. You see, in all these situations, auditor need to report to the central. Only in one case, auditor need not report. This case is board doesn't agree that fraud exists, and persuasive evidences are provided that fraud doesn't exist, and auditor is satisfied with that. That means here auditor is concluding that actually there is no fraud. When auditor is satisfied that actually there is no fraud, then report need not be sent to the center. But auditor is satisfied that fraud is existing and steps have been taken, then auditor need to report it to the central government. Did you understand? Up to this, is it clear? Did you understand this concept? Yes or no? Is it clear to you?